Hey, look, Colas have a new livery for the Class 66. Looks pretty cool if you ask me. I know some of my viewers may want to correct me and say that's definitely Freightliner, but no, I can assure you that's Colas. Hello there everybody and welcome to this bonus episode of the Train Sim News Show, episode 33.5 or 33.5 if you will. The only reason I'm doing this is because I was originally going to add this to the end of episode 33, but with me talking about Dovetail, the Armstrong Powerhouse, and having a massive Steam Workshop showcase at the end, I think this will just be a bit too much of a mouthful, and yeah, I just thought it'd be better just slice it off and put it up as its own separate segment. This is going to be something we haven't done for quite a while. It's responding time! And of all the people we're going to be responding to, it's going to be Mr. Alan of Thomson. Yep, I bet a few of you are wondering when I get to him. Well, to cut to the chase, he's a Train Sim Let's Player. There you go, that's all you need to know about him. He gives work-in-progress routes and mods free exposure. Not that I need it, obviously, and if he ever comes up to me begging me to showcase my route, I'll tell him to be a patient sod and wait like the rest. Okay, sure, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's harmless at the end of the day, and that's not what I'm here to specifically talk about. He made a video talking about Train Sim 2019 and 64-bit. And it sucks, but that's okay, because I'm here to save the day. And best of all, I believe this is the first sort of response-reply thing I've ever done, which doesn't force me to use text-to-speech, or to read them out myself, because Alan Thomson can speak. Yay! Anyway, let's begin, but first, most importantly, we need something. We need a transition. The obligatory transition. Yeah, like that joke hasn't been done before. Let me have some fun!
Hi there guys, and welcome to my first video about Train Sim 2019.
Woo! We changed one number in Photoshop even though our trial ran out, but woo!
The interesting bit about TS 2019, as we've been told already, this thing is going 64-bit.
Yep, 64 bits, even though that's only really going to be useful if you have more RAM. Also consider the following. To the date of us recording these videos, nobody's seen a single picture or video of what TS 2019 will actually look like or perform. So, yeah, just saying.
This has been sort of the war cry of the TS community for years. Years and years and years and years and years.
No.
Now I could go in and waffle on about why I want it to be 64-bit, and I will get to that.
Oh, you definitely have, if this video length is anything to tell me by.
But we're going to cover what Dovetail have said first of all. These guys are the guys doing it anyway, so let's start with that. And then we'll pick out bits and pieces and talk about what I think is going to be a good bit, is there any bad bits, what to expect, what not to expect. Dovetail cover it pretty much perfectly.
Oh really? I thought they outsourced to British Leyland or something. Or maybe EA.
So yes, if you've read this, you probably don't need to watch this video.
Dude, spoilers! I was gonna give those criticisms about your video at the end. Ugh, rude.
But if you've read it and don't understand some bits of it, I might be able to help you understand some bits of it more. I don't know the ins and outs of the absolute technicalities of it. I understand the difference in 32-bit and 64-bit, but I couldn't tell you the ins and outs.
Then why offer your viewers help? Look, not knowing and ignorance is fine, but if you can't help, then don't offer help.
This video just covers basically what they've said, what I think of it, and what I'm looking forward to with 64-bit Train Sim, really.
Now at this point of the video, I'm just going to activate my stand King Crimson. And the reason I'm going to do that is because for the next 11 minutes and 38 seconds, he's just rereading the article. Oh my goodness, how much padding do you need? And he's not even adding anything new, he's just reading it line for line, pretty much, not even skim reading. And if you don't believe me that it's 11 minutes 38 seconds as near as makes no difference, see for yourself here on the Vegas timeline screen cap I'm showing right now. There you go. more than half of his video is dedicated to just reading out the article, which he doesn't even link in the description of his video. Oh, and if you don't know what King Crimson does, it's very simple. It essentially messes around with types unnoticeable to people who aren't stand users, like 90% of my comment section. I like JoJo.
What this basically means, and a lot of you will have seen Speedy Pete's full sort of route maps and everything like that, what this is going to mean is we can have full routes. So full run of East Coast Mainline, full run of West Coast Mainline.
1 Sierra 90, 1730, London Euston to Glasgow Central. Have fun doing the AI on that service.
We can start merging routes together. Speedy Pete's worked out a really cool program that basically helps him to merge routes that start on different coordinates. There is loads of really cool things actually happening at the moment.
Pretty nice tool if you ask me. I haven't personally used it, though I can see it coming. Some knob is going to try and merge every single possible UK route, and then is then going to moan when, I can't do Aberdeen to Penzance without the game crashing. Uninstall! The next bit of him speaking is sort of more closer to a wish list, if anything. You know, sort of, oh, I hope they make more advanced and realistic trains, longer routes, and hopefully Dovetail can make more extensions for routes. And if that's the case, I'm just going to play this clip here.
Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of dosh. Dibble, 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 bosh, bosh, bosh.
And even then, it's not really worth replying to. There's nothing to reply. So get that King Crimsoned.
And let's get on to dumps. What causes TrainSim to dump? A dump or a crash to desktop is TrainSim's way of going, beep, you.
By censor bleeping in real life, I'm now legally obligated to play this song. Did you by any chance record this video on the same day you signed up for an account on Club Penguin without asking for your parents' permission? Add that onto the Supreme Edge pile.
It is saying, I am done. You have done something I don't like. I can't handle it. TrainSim, the engine itself, is actually very good at dealing with errors. It doesn't throw you out of the game for nothing. Lots of people are going to go, yes it does it all the time.
Yes it does it all the time. Wait, dang it, the mic is still on.
No, it actually doesn't. It's actually very good at dealing with it. You put a geo in wrong, it still loads the scenario, it just doesn't have the carriage in there. There are lots of things that TrainSim does that it couldn't do, if you know what I mean. If it didn't do them, it would be a lot worse.
I can see where you're coming from, and I could agree with that. The game would be a lot worse if it didn't do any of the aforementioned stuff that you just said. I think I'm going to have to skip ahead again, not because of what he's saying here is bad, but he's sort of just waffling on explaining about, you know, how one time he dragged a folder into the wrong area and didn't work. Train route, whatever, scenario, whatever it is, didn't work. It's happened to me a few times, though, that's all because my mouse at the moment is pretty dodgy. It likes to double click randomly, which is fun whilst I'm editing this. I will, however, show you this clip that he says, which gives me a sign that he's sort of on the right track, at least.
It is not going to stop dumps. Alright, it is going to cut them down drastically, fingers crossed, but it is not going to stop dumps happening. Not all dumps are memory related. That's very clear. When we all start playing with installing new things and everything like that, if you're not that good at installing things, you can mess it up. You can mess bits up.
Well, again, I can see where you're coming from here, but to be honest, most stuff to install in TrainSim these days is really easy, because you don't have to bother installing content through the content manager anymore. You could just open up routes or trains or pretty much anything you want with WinRAR, or if you're me, 7-zip. And that's if you're unlucky enough not to get an executable. The most technical thing you'd have to do installing routes nowadays is just copying over a few GeoPCDX files. And even if you get stuck, there's almost always a README file, which you really should read first before installing, located with your download. I'll accept if most of your viewers are much younger than the average audience that I have, but have a bit more faith in them than... yeah. The next bit he's talking about is when he's cocked up his own installations after streams and stuff. It's not bad, it's just irrelevant, so we'll skip that.
So the bottom line of this all is longer routes, better scenery, trains that are going to be, we can add more features into trains.
Unless your name begins with R and ends in strong powerhouse. You know, GSMR, CSR, visual aids, neutral section compatibility. They're all just optional at the end of the day. Then again, there's really nothing stopping Dovetail from taking that route anyway, so...
I hope this has answered some of your questions.
It hasn't answered my question of why this is a 21-minute video.
If you do have any questions, head over to the Facebook group and ask me them.
What? No way am I joining your Facebook group. Next to UK Train Sim, I can't think of another place in the Train Sim community where I'd be less welcome.
Because if you do it in the YouTube comments, it's really hard to keep track of what's going on.
Tutorial on how to click this button, please.
So head over to the Facebook group. It's linked in the description below.
What, you thought you had another chance of getting me on your crew? No way.
Grab me on there, grab all the other very knowledgeable people on there, and they will be able to help you out with any questions you have regarding 64-bit TS. Also, heading over to the Dovetail Games website, because this, funnily enough, is actually really well written.
Sure, I'll just use a link in the description of the video. Oh wait, you didn't put it in there. Instead, it's just the template description for all these other random developers that are completely unrelated to the video. No ticket today, mate, but you got to be careful next time, right?
It answers most of your questions anyway, but there's also the Dovetail forums. I don't tend to look on there. I will have a look and see what's going on about it now.
I haven't been on the Dovetail forums myself either. However, I have been informed by a few people that it's essentially wishlist the forum. So I don't know if I'm going to waste my time there or not. Now, at this point, I was sort of undecisive on if I was going to continue to reply, because the next part of his video, he's sort of just rambling on and making fingers crossed about, I hope it's released on this day, or I hope it's released on that day, blah-de-blah-de-blah. His video was uploaded on August the 28th, pretty much exactly a month after I'm recording this section here, and we already know what the release date of Railworks 10 is now anyway. It's the 11th of October. I will reply to this last few bits he says here, because I thought it was kind of funny.
My hunch is this is going to be October, November time. I hope it's no later than that.
Why? Are you moving to China or something?
But that is what I'm estimating at the moment. That's not from any official source or anything else. That's just from my years of knowing how Dovetail sort of release stuff.
Ah, so in other words...
The source cited is the author's ass.
Thank you, Mr. Martimer, and with that, we've concluded watching Mr. Allen's video. He may have not given a reason of why this video is 21 minutes long, but I think I've come up with one. Money. Yeah, his video is chock full of irrelevant ads, no surprise there, I'm afraid. And of course, the longer your video is, the more ads you can put in, because YouTube is a fair service, as we all know. I'm going to repeat this again just before any of my viewers take this the wrong way. I don't hate Mr. Alan Thomson, and I do actually like long videos, or videos hearing about other people's thoughts on Train Sim, or if they want to explain something, that's perfectly fine. But in the event that a video is very long, or 20 minutes, 30, 40 minutes long, whatever, I don't think it would be too much to ask to say that I'd like 20 minutes worth of content, not 10 minutes plus 11 minutes of you just rereading an entire article that you didn't even link in the description. Also, I'm not saying to Mr. Allen to take down his video, don't take it the wrong way. Nor am I saying he's the worst YouTuber out there, or person in the Train Sim community. Minor dislike does not mean hate. Both Mr. Allen's video and the article in question will be linked down in the description below. Also, last call for the Q&A as well. Not that I haven't got enough questions, I've got more than enough, but, you know, last minute questions, why not? But with that being done, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Goodbye.